experts, all-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is
white guys with a face for radio.
That's right. Presented by First Security Bank. By Kurt Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. And Fayetteville Auto Park. Here is Chuck and Bo.
All right, Bo, here's my take this morning. I'm just going to jump right into it. I know there's a lot of people out there. Before everyone goes crazy.
Before?
Yeah, okay.
It's been happening all weekend.
Arkansas's got 10 games left. I think they win at least 5 of them, and I think they go to a bowl game. I'm just going to say that right now. Before everyone,
I'll buy that.
Before everyone calls for everybody to be fired.
I'll buy that.
I'm saying they're going to win at least 5, and they will go to a bowl game.
If Arkansas is a stock, are you buying?
I'm buying.
Are you buying?
I'm buying. It's low right now. This is the time to buy it.
Got a texter out of the 870 right out of the gate. Worst loss since Reggie Fish muffed a punt. So huge to have won this game. This set the table for the season. Now we win next week and head into the SEC with no momentum, no ranking, and lots of good teams. That was a killer. You ran so well in the first half. Then Bobby wanted to pass. OMG, they couldn't stop the run. If they stuff you in first, you run in the next 3 downs. We could have dominated that game like we did at Texas Tech when Mahomes was there. I'm 45. This is nothing new. We blow a season-defining game. Thanks, Hogs. Now I hate football all winter and have to wait until next September. Guess we didn't understand the importance of a win that would define our season. Ugh. So Chuck's buying. This guy's selling. He's depressed for the rest of the year. It's like literally done for the year. Now I have to wait till next September.
Look, we all try to determine the worth of the season before anybody else. Some guy wants to be the one to call it. And we're all guilty of this. I mean, we're all guilty of this. We call the worth of the season before September ends. We do. And look, it was a disappointing loss. I mean, it was a disappointing loss because you dominated in every phase of the game except the turnovers. And there is the feeling that the Razorbacks gave one away.
Well, the better team lost.
And I'm sure in their heart of hearts, they feel like we gave that one away. And
typical Razorback football program is the most common response that we're getting.
And this comes from disappointment that has happened over the years. It doesn't really have anything to do with this team. It just has to do with the disappointment that's happened over the years. I will say this, though. I thought, despite the fact they lost the game, in terms of the long-term prognosis for this season, I think there's more to be encouraged about than discouraged about. Clearly the turnovers. And I'm not breaking any news when I say that. But the offensive line's pretty good. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to be able to open gaping holes like they did against Oak State, against an SEC team, but I think that offensive line's pretty good. Defensive line, they held Oklahoma State to defense period, held Oklahoma State to 59 rushing yards. You can't go back and say, well, if it wasn't for the turnovers, they'd have won, because they did turn it over, and that's why they lost. They continue to turn it over like that, they'll continue to lose. But if they can correct the turnovers, and I think they can, I think this still has a chance to be a pretty good team. I was encouraged by the physicality.
Sorry. Here's
That's all right.
here's
Go
the
ahead.
play of the game.
High, end over end. Ponsetania fumbled it, and Oklahoma State's got the ball. Are you kidding me?
That's the play of the game.
It was
The
a pivotal
momentum
play.
at that play, it's the play of the game. By the way, for those of you that want to rip a player for dropping a punt, I'd encourage you to go out there and try it sometime without anybody around, and then have people falling at your feet and rolling into you while you're trying to catch the punt. It's just, that was a freak play. Like, I wouldn't call it a fluke, but it's just one of those freak breaks in a game that doesn't go your way. And the pick six was similar. They bring a blitz. There's a pressure and Talon just makes one of the very few mistakes he made the entire game. I mean, those things are just sort of like, man, not your day. And you do everything right. You basically outperform the other team by 300 yards. I mean, the stats on offense are ridiculous. Like, so good. So incredibly good. So many things about that game. So good. And then you just have some plays that it's football. And give Oklahoma State credit. This idea that Oklahoma State suddenly is not a very good team because Arkansas went in there and played them like that is absurd. This moving target is absurd. You beat Pine Bluff 70-0. You score on every possession. And we all say, Oklahoma State's a prove it game. Show me then. And most of the people that were saying that were thinking Arkansas was going to go in there and get smashed. They go in there and smash Oklahoma State and then find a way to lose with turnovers in double overtime. So now Oklahoma State's not good. Oklahoma State's a contender for the Big 12 title. Yes or no? That's what everybody's saying going into the season. They're 13th in the country now. If you go look at playoff projections, Oklahoma State is in the conversation. But now people want to say they're not they're not going to the playoffs, and they might not. They got to play Utah. They got some tough road games on their schedule, but they're a contender right now. At this point in the season, Oklahoma State's a contender for the playoff. They're not trash. So is Arkansas trash, or is Arkansas a good team 2 games into the season? Which is it? Like, where do you sit today? 877-377 69-63. I get annoyed by the moving target. The idea that Arkansas wasn't any good. For some people, they're not any good. And then through the first 2 games, nothing they can do says anything other than that. And it's the same old Arkansas team. That team looks nothing like absolutely zero comparison for me to last year's team.
I agree with that. There is such a fine line, and I know this is one of those statements that some will roll their eyes at, but there's such a fine line between being good enough to win and knowing how to win. Arkansas is good enough to win right now, but you can't suplex a guy when you've had a 3-yard loss.
Great point.
You can't do some of the things they did and win the game. You can be good enough to win, but there's a difference between being good enough and actually doing it. I am of the opinion, and I admit it's a hopeful opinion, if they can win one of these games, sometimes that brings an avalanche. We see it in sports all the time. Trends are real. And I mean, you look at the numbers in 1-score games, nobody can argue with the facts on what's happened. You cannot argue with the facts. But I am of the belief that if they can win one of these games, and that's an if, I know that's an if statement, but sometimes you win one of these games and you don't lose another one for a couple of years. That's how it works in sports. Things generally happen in streaks. And I kind of think that's where they are. But they got to learn how to win a game.
Right.
You got to learn how to win the game in the pivotal moments. And they're good enough to do that right now. They've just not taken that last step. When it happens, will it happen? I don't know. But that's my honest take on where they are.
Eddie in Clarksville, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I was really pumped for the season. I really believe we could win this game. And I've never seen it. I've been aboard the Hog Train since 1971. I was 7 years old, and when I went to the first Arkansas-Texas game, and I've never seen an Arkansas team ever, or any team in general in college sports, dominate a game, score almost 600, rush for almost 650 yards of offense and lose the game.
2-something,
I've
but yeah.
never seen it. And so special teams, once again, I'm not Coach Pittman. Listen, I love Coach Pittman. If he was running for president, I'd vote for him. But special teams, again, showed its ugly face. It cost us this game. You missed 2 field goals. And I realize this. Listen, on a punt return, I don't know if it's coaching or what. If you're not blocking, get away from the ball. Let me say this. You talk about, we used to be one of the most top 20 programs in the country at college football. And now I look at this. I've never seen a more statement coach than Coach Pittman. I'm getting on Bobby Petrino now. Look at the last call. I'm going to tell you, you rush 180 pounds. If he only think he weighs 180 pounds, up the middle. Where's Braylon Russell? He's a 250-pound running back, and you rush him up the middle when everybody in the stadium knows you're going up the middle. Let me say this. You bring this to the SEC, you'll be sitting at the house again. And you talk about, where did Bobby change? He used to tear the rear off, the rear hairs off Ryan Mallett and Tyler Wilson. If he meant they just missed a check off, you say this. Get Singleton suited up. I don't care. Listen here. Taylor Green, you played a great game, no doubt about it. If you were a Western, you be the good, bad, and ugly. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot miss open receivers. And nobody gets a bye. I don't want to hear moral victory. Let me say this. Bobby Petrino, get Singleton suited up. Because I'm telling you this, if you're careless with the football, you're going to lose. Thank you for taking my call.
Eddie's pissed. You didn't notice. When you talk about doing the things that you have to do to win a game, I think about the wheel route. They called the wheel route, and the pass was underthrown. And those are the things that the plays you got to make if you're going to win. I do think it's interesting, though. We've already had too much pass, and why'd you run the ball there? So,
the wrong running back.
Yeah, it's the play didn't work. The play didn't work, and that's why it's a bad play in people's minds.
Taylor Green was 26 of 45 for 416 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick 6. So 2 touchdowns, one of the other team. 18 carries, 61 yards. That's good enough to win. The turnover killed you. The fumbled punt killed you. The 1 yard, 4th and 1, not picking it up didn't kill you. It ended the game, but that's not why they lost the game. You can pick apart any one play in one game. You can watch all the NFL games yesterday and see it all again. Nobody's more criticized than the offensive coordinator when a play doesn't work.
No, you're right about that. You're right. If it works, it's the best call, and if it doesn't work, it's a terrible call.
You can't look at Petrino and say, man. If you want to look like they're like the second team in the country in scoring. What are those stats, Bart, that you had? They're dominating offensively. I'm not going to criticize one play call in this game. Especially when you turned it over like that. Oklahoma State had 18 points off 3 Arkansas turnovers. That was the game. That's pretty obvious. But Arkansas, statistically, which nobody cares about today, is one of the top teams in the country in multiple categories through 2 games. What do you got?
Well, 9th nationally in scoring. So that's 2nd in the SEC, 9th in the country. I'm sorry, 4th in the SEC, 9th in the country. 16th nationally in rushing, 2nd nationally in passing, 1st nationally in 3rd down conversion rate.
Run that one back one more time. First what? In 3rd down conversions nationally.
71%. Like, that's a sign of a good offense. That's
pretty-
just is. That's a team that knows how to keep a drive going and keep the opposing defense on the field and the opposing offense off the field. That's the sign of a good offense.
Smack Daddy's in Greenwood. Smack Daddy, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Smack Daddy.
Hey, I want to bring up something that nobody's mentioned yet.
Please.
You know, Bo just made a statement about us having the second best offense in college football. How come with 1 minute and 48 seconds left to go before halftime, we didn't score? Not even a field goal. That could have put a dagger in the heart of OSU, because we would have scored, got the ball back after halftime, and probably had momentum to at least score again.
I think
So
it goes
I
back
think-
to being good enough to win, but not winning situations. I felt like going into the locker room at halftime, they'd let them off the hook. But I also, at that point, didn't feel like Oklahoma State's offense would be able to score much. I still felt like Arkansas was very much in control of the game. I know they would have liked to have had points there. But they were still in control of the ball game. But I do think there was the feeling in some people's minds that it could be a lot worse right now. Probably ought to be up a little bit more.
That's a good point.
Like I say, I told my wife when we didn't score at halftime, I said, this very well might have hurt us, because we could have put the momentum on our side so much further and probably hindered Oklahoma State from even having the thought of being able to come back. But, I mean, Arkansas. So you guys have a great morning. I'll keep listening.
Okay, let's talk about Arkansas
Yeah,
when we
I
come
wanna get
back
into
on the
that,
Chuck
too.
and Bo Show. 618, good morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I think that allowing him to call in occasionally is a healthy reminder of why you don't like Texas.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you on every step of the way. Whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
What's your Oaklawn? Is it hitting the slots for fun and high fives? Or having a round at Silk's Bar and Grill before the action? Play your way at Oaklawn's 24/7 non-smoking casino. With 1,500 slot machines, live roulette, craps, and blackjack, a sports book where you can watch and wager on your favorite games, and live entertainment at Pop's Lounge, you'll never run out of fun. It's time for more winning and more excitement at Oaklawn. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Who's ready for some Arkansas Razorback football? Experience football game days on the Hill as the Hogs return to action for the Fayetteville home opener, Saturday, September 14th, 3:15 p.m. against UAB. Tickets are available online at arkansasrazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Did you know that almost 80% of all advertising is spent on digital? This is Dale Daniels, Digital Sales Manager for ESPN Arkansas. And due to the growth in digital advertising, we have the opportunity for the right person to join our team. Digital and radio advertising go hand in hand, and we're looking for someone to help businesses grow with this powerful combination. If you have experience in broadcast and digital marketing or business development, we want to hear from you. Email your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Back to Save Sports Radio.
All right, here's what I want to know. And this is what I've thought about since the end of the ball game, because I knew what the reaction was going to be, and it's been fairly predictable, to be very honest. Are you really upset about this loss? This loss? Or is this the culmination of 10 years of frustration? I tend to think there's as much of the latter as the former in people's frustrations today. I know they're mad about the game. I know that. I mean, because it's a game that you look at, and there was every reason to believe the Razorbacks were going to win. It's the end of the first quarter. It's 14-0, and it looks like they're going to boat race them. By the end of the afternoon, your heart's broken again. So I guess I would ask again, are you mad specifically because of what happened in Stillwater? Or have you had 10 years of heartbreak and you're just mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore?
I think there's a lot to that. Nobody cares about all these offensive stats when you lose. Pittman teams find a way to lose. That's from Devin and Conway.
But I'm not just talking about Sam Pittman. In fact, when Sam Pittman's coached, quite frankly, I felt better about our chances than I did when Morris coached either of his 2 seasons or the last 2 of Bielema. We had a real chance to win that game on Saturday. Should have won that game on Saturday. We have said this before about our team, and I know that's what frustrates people. But I don't think anybody, if you just look at that game as a standalone game, reasons to be frustrated? Absolutely. Reasons to go nuts? Absolutely not. I've been here a long time. I can tell you from experience, the new head coach has 1 season of a honeymoon. After that, every time they lose, somebody needs to be fired.
It's a tab.
That's where we are now.
It's a tab.
Every time the Razorbacks lose, somebody needs to be fired.
It's a tab that never gets paid off. Every time you order, it goes on there. Every year a head coach has is more of a tab that just builds and builds and builds, and you remember all the bad stuff. No matter what happens after that, you still remember the bad stuff, and it comes back up when something bad happens. 877-377-6963. This goes into that topic that we can get into. The last caller made, Arkansas is just going to Arkansas. Oh, well. That's what Chuck's point was really about.
It really is.
Sean in Fort Smith, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning. I'll tell you how to fix this right quick. Arkansas offense is a timing offense. That center, he needs to lose his job. The ball will throw to the feet, to the left, to the right. That quarterback takes that ball in his hand so he can look downfield. When you're down there fumbling trying to get a ball, and if it's taking it too long to get the ball back to the quarterback. That's the whole problem with timing it up. And yeah, we had a lot of yards. We'd have had a lot more if that daggum center would have done his job. Something's wrong with the center.
That'll get
Y'all see
fixed.
that in the game?
I wouldn't expect to continue seeing that, but you're right. It was an issue. It was.
That's all I got. That's just that's just when you play Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, you expect to go in there and stop the mud hole, because that's all you hear, how great they are. We go in there and we dominate and we run them off the field, and we lose the dadgum game at the end. That's it. That's the whole thing. Arkansas and Oklahoma. I live on the border. I have to listen to these people in Oklahoma, how great they are. They're not any good. That team scored 6 points or 7 points, 6 in the quarter on offense and 7 on the defense. That game was over.
What do you think Oklahoma State's record's going to be this year?
Oklahoma State is not any good.
What do you think their record's going to be?
They're going to shut that running back down. Every team.
What do you think their record's going to be?
They're going to win 7 games.
Do you think Oklahoma State's only going to win 7 games? Okay, got it on the record.
Did you see anything that they did that tells you they're going to be better than that?
Well, if they played in a different league, look, if they
think,
played in a different league, you might be right.
hold on.
But in their league, they're going to win more than 7 games.
This is my point, though. Arkansas gets no credit for making them look bad.
I agree with that.
You're right. This is my problem with people's expectations. Like, now Oklahoma State sucks. Arkansas went in there and played their butts off. They just blew the game. They made mistakes. They didn't make winning. They got to figure out how to put games away and win. And we've seen that be a trend. And we know how many games they lost by 1 score last year. And now you've lost another one like that. But is Arkansas a good team? Are they a talented team? Because all offseason, that was the question. That was really the question, right? All offseason, are they a talented team? Are they good enough? Are they better? Those types of things. Many people called this show expecting Arkansas and texted at this show expecting Arkansas to go in there and get rolled up. Like, they were a 10-point underdog going into the game at kickoff. And now Oklahoma State's trash. Like, Arkansas gets no credit for making them look bad?
Patrick's on the line in Stuttgart. Patrick, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to answer the question in terms of, was it the last 10 years or the last few years? And I think the thing about, the Sam Pittman era is Sam came in and he proved that he could make us compete at a high level and in the SEC. If you look at the whole time he's been here, that's one thing he's proved. Even last year, which turned out really bad because of a bad hire. But that team was really talented. It started out right with the expectation that, it could win the SEC and competed against the best teams in the SEC up into those last 2 games against Auburn and Missouri when they kind of gave up. And now this year we brought in, a good, competent OC. I mean, really one of the best OCs in the country, like you guys were pointing out earlier. And so, we can compete. Yesterday, this weekend proved that. That's a ranked team. We go on the road. And really, if we played good football, we would have dominated. But it all comes back to this. Well-coached teams do not beat themselves. Sam has proved he's a good recruiter. He can bring in SEC talent, unlike, Tad Morris. But the thing is, he finds ways to lose games that he shouldn't. And that's what's happening right now. That's what a lot of people are frustrated about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, look, they've been undisciplined, and it's been that way for 3 years or throughout the tenure. And that's part of the process. There's no question about it. We'll take more of your calls coming up next on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, well, congratulations. Hey, Chuck, I made some good calls today. You sure did. You sure did.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands: Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Park.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Salem Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Pay attention. This happens fast. Routine, scheduled, maintenance. You know it's coming one day, but that day's in the future. Then the future comes, and your wallet's not ready for that $250 maintenance. But your forklift is. It needs it. Good thing you're smart. You're buying a used forklift from Medley Equipment Company this summer, and its first planned maintenance will be free because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Jam Mart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. Jam Mart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero Jam Mart locations. And stop by any of the 6 Jam Mart locations in the area. Jam Mart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
People wonder all the time, where do I get my suits for all the weddings I go to? Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental. Rainwater's has dressed me from head to toe. So if you're renting or buying, your #1 men's clothing shop is Rainwater's. Experience the Rainwater's difference for yourself at 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith or online at rainwater-s.com. When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you. Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
Man, 40s this morning. 40s.
48.
Ridiculous.
48.
It's amazing. Feels great.
I'm a weatherman.
Feeder bands likely. Pay attention to the radar. Heath is in Cabot. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Heath, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Heath.
You know, Chuck, you mentioned the last 10 years. I'll tell you what the sad thing is before halftime, it was actually after the pick six. I had some of my closest Hog fans, my sister included, texted me, well, this is where we lose. This is how we lose. They just somehow knew that the first half, the majority of it was too good to be true, and that pain and suffering was coming. It's crazy. It's really crazy because when the point spread jumped up to 10, I was like, well, I guess somebody knows something. Maybe somebody's not going to play. Maybe that story will come out later, something. But I was like, well, from 8.5 to 7.5 to 10, that's 2 points is kind of a big jump before the game. But when they came out in the kickoff, and that looked like Arkansas was one of the top two, like a dark horse. I was like, well, there's your dark horse in the SEC this year. Wow. And then it just kind of unraveled.
Do you feel like they're not that now because they lost?
No. So that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't take the first half away from that team. Look at how they played. They looked really good. They looked like a dark horse in the SEC. Just because they had a monumental meltdown in the second half doesn't mean that talent's not there, the play calling's not there, that the inability to score is not there. That they're the same team. They just had a lot of mistakes, and they played an experienced team. Not once did Oklahoma State panic.
That's right.
They never looked like they were out of that game the entirety of it, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
They looked like they just hadn't got going. And, I thought the experience took over with the mistakes and then the end result. But, I expect Arkansas to win some games this year. I expect them to get on the field, compete, maybe win one or two that they're not supposed to, even though they weren't supposed to win this one. They had it in the bag pretty much. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not, listen, what's worse? What's worse? What's going into Stillwater being a 10-point underdog and almost having the game won, or being at home in South Bend, a 28.5-point favorite, and then getting beat by 2 points? Come on, man.
Yeah. No.
That's where my heart was.
Hey, and look around college football, and we'll get into this as the week goes on. We don't know that much about college football yet. We know a few things. We got maybe 3 or 4 teams that quite a bit about. Oregon's supposed to be as talented and as loaded as anybody, and they're hanging on for dear life right now. And look, the other
6
thing,
of the top 7 teams, I think, are from the SEC today. And, man, I thought Tennessee was impressive. They just went to Charlotte and just beat out of NC State.
Breaks off. 877-377-6963. Another point to maybe get to is this mentality that Arkansas has of, here we go again. Fans, here we go again. Okay, this is too good to be true. Here we go again. I would ask the question, can you be part of the solution? Or are you going to wait and just see what happens on the field and let the team figure it out, and then you'll jump on? That's the definition of a bandwagon. This idea that here we go again, as if you're owed something and you're waiting on your payback, not like how do you change your mentality to be part of the solution, and or just sit around and wait? Oh, show me, like a relate. Oh, you show me, and then I'll be back on your side. That's just part of it. I'm asking, are you going to wait, or are you going to be part of the solution? Charlie and Camden, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
What's up, Bo? I appreciate you challenging the fans, man. That's a cool thing. We could be better, but I think for us, Chuck, you said something earlier that I thought caught my eye a little bit. Just the way you said it. The last few years, the facts are in 1-score games, we What is it? Are we 2-10 since the
The Razorbacks are 3-10 and won't score games since 2022. 6 of those losses came against ranked teams. They're 1-6 in their last 7 games decided by 8 points or less.
Yeah, and I think what it's become is almost this. I don't know, Chuck. You were saying it it's almost like it's become like an avalanche or some sort of like they're having trouble with. They're just not finding ways to finish games that they should. Now, I'm gonna put it this way: I don't know in some of those other games if we were clearly the better team, but in my opinion, on Saturday, we were the better team than Oklahoma State. I don't care what anyone else thinks or says. I mean, I don't care about no line or no. We're going in there. We're 10-point underdog. We were better than those guys. We just couldn't do the fundamental things that we need to do to win. And obviously, kicking is a big thing. I mean, we got to figure that out. I don't know what the answer is. Another thing is, guys, as good as Nichols was, I was watching him after the snap. He was amazing. But there were a lot of snaps that were off in this game. I know that Taylor didn't handle a few. Chuck, what do you think? Do you think Nichols just nerves, or do you think it just the snowball effect there in the second half? Because it felt like everything happened in the second half after they had all that success in the first half. Yeah. And that's what is kind of confusing to me. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Charlie.
Hard to know what's in a guy's head, but I'm sure that's going to be a point of emphasis this week during practice. I don't have any doubt about that. Just as there's emphasis when you pass the football, you want to hit the receiver in a spot where he can continue to run. When you snap the ball, as a caller pointed out a little bit earlier, that's when the timing of the play begins. So, you certainly want to be solid there too.
David's in Searcy. Hey, David. Good morning.
Excuse me. Well, guys, I got to say that
I thought you were just gathering yourself there for a moment.
No, somewhat. My weekend was somewhat pacified by the fact that the Cowboys won, and I got to experience Notre Dame going down, and so it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, Dak has a $240 million contract. The Cowboys win.
Yeah. Well, things are getting in line anyway. But clearly, I was not prepared for my emotions to hit every level possible this early in the season. It was just too early for this. But what I take from the game, I'm very encouraged because we beat Oklahoma State. Take away the mistake, we won the game. We were the better team, and I'm encouraged by that. We were all upset and shocked the way we lost because we gave it away. Everybody knows we gave it away. The players do, the coach do, you guys do. But that's going to happen sometimes. If they can eliminate that, this is going to be one more fun season. But my point is, I was not ready to experience all the emotions this early. We saved that to the end of the season. The big games. Oh my God, here's a big game. But anyway, I'm very proud of the team.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys.
It's interesting. Let me say something about that just for a moment. I was with some what I'll call social media people after the game in the car. They were keeping up with what everybody was saying. Yeah. And I said, what are they saying? And
somebody let me know.
So the answer was proud of the way they played. Thought they played a good game. Reading me some of them. And then it took one or two. All it takes is one or two. The narrative changes, and here comes the onslaught. But I do think a lot of the points David made just a moment ago were right on point.
More of your calls coming up as we react on a Monday after Arkansas suffers a disappointing 39-31 double overtime loss in Stillwater. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank, Pasco Air Plumbing and Electric, the Fayetteville Auto Park, Flight by Yingling, and Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but they ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there could also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatinumCosmetic.com, SweatinumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013, with popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA. There's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Razorback fans, it's Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmer. And it's a great time to be a Razorback. Embrace the hoe! Whether it's a touchdown, a slam dunk, or a grand slam.
Big Suey, they were doing all the stuff. I went in there to get something to eat, and they're cheering. I'm like, what is going on here?
We're here with the excitement and insight you crave.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps now, you know.
It's the Razorback Daily from the team at Sport and Store.
That might be our best episode ever.
Available wherever you listen to your podcast each morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Safe Sports Radio.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. Here at ESPN Arkansas, we rely on Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on the radio station when we're not here. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your stuff. Guardtronic, license E50.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, and we are live at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District. Jose, but what we got whipping up today, man?
Man, today's special. We have the French toast turkey melt, kind of a special sandwich. It really didn't put us on the map, but it did put a star by our name.
Daily specials every day at the award-winning Lily's Sandwich Shop. And if you don't believe me, ask Lily.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Two bald white guys with a face for radio.
Brian's in Fayetteville. Brian, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey guys, how are you this morning?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, look, I want to give a quick counterpoint to the Arkansas is going to Arkansas narrative. I mean, there were a lot of mistakes. Honestly, the mistakes I saw, except for special teams, which I'm worried about, the other mistakes just looked like kind of typical game 2 stuff. But when Arkansas, it doesn't have to be a lot of mistakes. I think Chuck called it an onslaught. Arkansas doesn't need an onslaught when they Arkansas. It's one thing. And this is not Arkansas doing that in that sort of stereotypical fashion. If it was, they wouldn't have come back and scored a touchdown after that pick 6. When they Arkansas, that breaks them like it did in the Texas A&M game a couple of years ago when you had that interception that they somehow ran back for a touchdown at the end of the first half, and Arkansas didn't do anything after that. You know, if Arkansas was Arkansas and Blue Cass doesn't break free and score that touchdown.
Now, here's what I would say about Arkansasing, if we're going to talk about that. Okay, here's my take on that, Chuck. I think what you're saying is Arkansas isn't usually the best team. And what ends up happening when you're not the best team, if you fight like Arkansas traditionally does, like what I would say the core of our state is to fight with a chip on your shoulder. You're the underdog, whether it's in business or the Razorbacks. You're the underdog, and you're taking on the rest of the world. But the rest of the world might be better or is viewed as better or more talented. And so a lot of times Arkansas finds themselves in games that maybe they didn't have any business being in, and then they don't finish it off, and we call it Arkansas is going to Arkansas. The difference with me on this team, this looks like a legit squad. I think they're going to be in every game they play. I don't think I look at a team on the schedule and say, man, that one's going to be a three touchdown loss. That's going to be embarrassing. They're going to get run off the field. They got to figure out a way to win games. And I get we have all this history to consider, Chuck, but you don't have to consider that history with this particular team.
No, you're right about that. And one of the frustrating things for me in the 10 years worth of buildup that is exploding from a lot of our, from a lot of the fans is that this year's team had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. I mean, there's 50-something new guys off last year's team. I mean, there's only about 30 guys on the team right now. If you got to blame somebody, there's only 30 of them that were even here last year. So, I mean, that's how it works now in college football. And unfortunately for Razorback fans, the only thing that changes are the coaches and the players. It's still the team, still the logo. Their heart breaks just the same, regardless of the year. But Phil used to talk about this in baseball with the baseball team, and he was right. One team's failure is not this team's failure, and your point's well made in that. You can't owe what happened before against this year's team, and I do agree with you. I think this year's team. I said this at the beginning of the hour. I'll stand by it. As disappointing as it was on Saturday. They've got 10 games left. I'll bet they win at least 5 of them, and I'll bet they're in a bowl game.
Congrats to Jake Bates and Cam Little, former Razorbacks, on a couple of big field goals yesterday. Cam Little did it for the Jags. Not enough to beat the Dolphins and handcuffed Tyreek Hill. How about 2 professional athletes now getting arrested on the way in to their venue? Scotty Scheffler and Tyreek Hill. That's got to be a first. Welcome to 2024. All right, all your calls coming up next as we continue to react on a Monday. Good morning. It's the Chuck and Bo Show as we approach 7 o'clock.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you've followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Wrap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Did I hear my broadcast partner talking about somebody slipping in his DM?
He's big. That's what I like about our running backs. We have a couple of big ones. He's one of them. But he can make you miss. On contact, he can get you 2 or 3 more yards. Understanding the schematics of what the offensive line does, which you have to know as a quarterback, and then going back to running back, I think that did help him. But he's a really strong runner.
Catch Sam Pittman live every Wednesday night at 7, only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will climb into the lower 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 50s. On Tuesday, right back to sunshine. Our high in the mid to upper 80s. And then Wednesday, mixed clouds and sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Nestled in the beautiful Ozark Mountains, the OARK General Store has been serving customers since 1890. OARK General Store serves the freshest homemade burgers, fries, and pies with the friendliest staff you'll ever meet. You won't be disappointed on your adventure stepping back in time. Whether you're on a motorcycle, top down in a Jeep, or just out for a Sunday drive, make sure you check out the OARK General Store in North Johnson County. Hop off I-40 in Ozark or Clarksville for one of the most beautiful 30-minute drives in all of Arkansas. For hours or location, go to OARK General Store on Facebook.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
You sound like a participation trophy, Dad.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Don't miss A Night of Hope, an evening with John Calipari, Tuesday, September 17th at Pinnacle Country Club in Rogers. The evening gets underway at 6:15 with a VIP meet and greet and cocktail party for premium sponsors. At 6:30, hear Razorbacks coach Cal with special guest Joe Klein. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are all available by logging on to teamlukehopeforminds.org. A Night of Hope, supporting children after brain injury, September 17th. Log on now, teamlukehopeforminds.org.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you stuck in a paper jam of printer prices, paper cuts from budget cuts? Don't throw in the towel. Call Dixie Digital Imaging and dive into our new and used inventory blowout. We're slashing prices on top-of-the-line Xerox, Brother, and Epson printers and multifunction devices, gently used or brand new models that are tired of being in our warehouse. Don't miss out on these deals. Call 479-783-6600 for more details. Quantities and availability are limited. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
In 1971, I was 6 years old. We beat the Longhorns when they rolled in to Little Rock, Arkansas in their white Cadillacs and their orange suits and cowboy hats. We beat them 31-7. Moments in time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a call play, and I called it.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
Can you believe we're doing this? This brings just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio. Let's make another excuse for this jackwater.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. By Kurt Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. And Fayetteville Auto Park. Here is Chuck and Bo.
All right, glad you're here. Let's reset it just for a moment as we begin hour two. We came out of the gate brawling today, and I'm guessing that's going to continue in the next hour. Chuck and Bo Show brought to you by First Security Bank, Pascal Air, Plumbing and Electric, Fayetteville Auto Park, Flight by Yingling, and Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. 877-377-6963. All right, I want to make a couple of points here because I have the floor.
All of it.
People are, we've talked a lot about the one-score games. We've cited stats coming out of this game Saturday. A lot of good stats in terms of Arkansas. A lot of good stats. For a lot of people, the overriding numbers involved in the record one-score games, 2-10. All right. 6 of those games, I want to circle back to where you were going a minute ago, Bo. 6 of those games, 6 of those losses, 6 of those 10 losses were to ranked teams. I don't know if Arkansas was ranked in any of those games. If they were, it wouldn't have been more than maybe one. Sam Pittman, as the Arkansas coach, is 17-7 against the spread as an underdog. So my point in all of that is maybe Arkansas is overachieving just to make it a one-score game. I'm not saying every time, and I'm not saying that was the case Saturday. Arkansas should have won that game Saturday, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But maybe in some of these games where Arkansas has been unranked and the other team's been ranked 10th, 12th, in some cases 4th, 5th, sometimes number 1, and you play them as an unranked team, and you play them within one score, maybe you've done better than you really had a right to expect. I'm not saying that salves the wound. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying it doesn't get old, because it sure does. But I think that's something that should be considered. It's not as though you've got 2 top 10 teams or 2 teams at an equal point, ranked right about the same, and in those 12 games, Arkansas has only won 2 of them.
Senator, Bart turned my mic off just so I wouldn't interrupt you.
No. That's
Senator,
okay.
Senator, let me interject.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm filibustering.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
good. It's good. I want to add to your point. I think that's what's different about Saturday's game. You found a way to lose the game.
That's
and those
true.
games
There's no question.
in those games you're talking about, I don't think that was necessarily the case. My point is Arkansas is more talented this year. Where Arkansas often is not that talented. Like, that is the biggest issue. When you talk about the history of this program, it's generally that Arkansas is not good enough. Their talent's not enough. The first team Razorbacks, the top 11 on both sides of the ball, look like they can compete with anybody. They got to figure out a way to win games this year. But in the past, you're exactly right. It's been about just trying to figure out a way to overachieve your talent, outperform your talent. This team doesn't look like that to me.
I agree. And I'll ask the question we asked earlier. Is the bulk of your frustration this morning over what happened Saturday, or is it a culmination of the last 10 years? Look, Arkansas, you may think Arkansas, somebody needs to get fired over what happened Saturday, but I mean, the country thought enough of Oklahoma State's win that they jumped from 16 to 13. It's not like you lost to chopped liver, but again, you went as an unranked team. You played a ranked team that, as it turns out, by all accounts, you probably, are better than. But your point's well made. In years past, you did have to overachieve to get to that point. I think Arkansas, and I'll say it again, they got 10 games left. I think they win at least 5. I think they go to a bowl game.
Brent in Searcy, you're on Chuck and Bo. Good morning.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo. How are you guys?
What's up, Brent?
Morning. Doing great.
I want to say that Saturday, we were the better team. There is no doubt in my mind than Oklahoma State. I think that we do have to learn how to win games and learn how to not make the critical mistakes, not have somebody run into our punt returner and we fumble because we get hit by friendly fire. But what's so disappointing about this week's game is we're so much better than we have been in the past 2 years. We're so much better. We went to Oklahoma State and we competed with them toe to toe, nose to nose, and they didn't want any more of it. I think Oklahoma State will be a middle of the road Big 12 team when it's all said and done, because I think Utah will come in there and do what the Razorbacks did and just out physical them.
Well, that wouldn't make them middle of the road. That'd make them like the second best team in the Big 12.
They're going to lose some games, Bo Mattingly. They're going to lose some games because their quarterback's not good enough to beat people.
Brent, I'm surprised you're not giving Arkansas any credit for making him look that way. And also you're not giving him any credit for bringing them back.
Arkansas played extremely well on defense. They shut down. The commentators were saying he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. If Ollie Gordon's a Heisman Trophy candidate, I could run the Boston Marathon. That's not happening. Travis Williams had a great plan on defense, great plan. Coach Petrino had a great plan on offense. If we don't throw an interception that Alan Green gets hit on and scores it, then they run it back for a touchdown, or we don't drop two center quarterback exchanges, we win the game running away.
Right.
I believe that with all my heart. But there's one thing we've got to find. We have got to find a place kicker. Scott Fountain's got 50 deep snappers and 17 punters on the roster, and we can't find a field goal kicker. Come on now, we just better go for two every time.
Well, I think finding a field goal kicker in college football is maybe the most difficult thing to do. When you have one, you really appreciate it. But I mean, like, they don't just spit those things out of high school every year.
We've been really spoiled. We've been really spoiled with Cam Little. There's no doubt about it. And he was automatic. The thing you don't want to have happen, and you've got to find a kicker. I mean, you got to have a consistent kicker, because otherwise it affects your play calling. In the back of your mind as a play caller, we can't kick a field goal. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure some of that thinking didn't come in during the game Saturday. I'm thinking about that fourth down call. You've got to, it's all got to work together. And you don't want to be in a spot where your offensive coordinator is calling something he might not call if he had a better kicker. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. We'll also see how Oklahoma State plays out and how good they are or are not. But going into the game, there was an opinion about who Oklahoma State was, and it was a high opinion from a lot of people. I mean, I watched Game Day. They're all high on Oklahoma State. Everybody nationally writing about Oklahoma State's been high on them. And then Arkansas goes in there, and they play like they did, and now Oklahoma State suddenly is not that good, and I'm just not buying that. I give credit to Arkansas for being a lot better than people thought they were.
I'm glad you said that, because you can't say, oh, Ollie Gordon sucks. He's not going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Well, how about giving this defense a little bit of credit for shutting him down? You don't know that he's not going to rush for 150 in the next ball game. You don't know that he's not going to be a Heisman Trophy contender. Why is it when our guys stop a guy like that? Well, he sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
He sucks.
Like,
he can't be any good.
Moving expectations. Farrell Hogg, Missouri. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Morning, guys. The subject about the self-inflicted wounds, first of all, I don't know that I've ever seen a game where it impacted so adversely the points that was given up after the mistakes. I mean, 18 points. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Well, I mean, one of them was a pick six, and the other one was a fumbled punt in your own end. And there was momentum on Oklahoma State's side at that point.
They got a lot of help.
Oh, I agree. And my point is that I've seen us shoot ourselves in the foot before, but it was like the self-infliction was horrendous in terms of how devastating they were. Also, I go back to the first game, the Cupcake. I was kind of in favor of playing an easy first game, and that makes me think maybe had we played somebody that would have at least caused some of these self-inflicted mistakes, like not watching the ball into your hands, for instance, on a pitch. Those are things we learned in 8th grade. And maybe had we had some of those kinds of mistakes in the first game, we played a perfect game in the first game. We didn't get to see any of the mistakes that we saw in the second game. And then also, the things that I'm concerned about is the lack of pressure. Now, did that come because we were scheming against Gordon, or I'm not sure.
Well, they didn't have a lot of deep drops. I mean, everything that they were doing was short drops, quick throws.
They get the ball out quick. Also, you can learn something in the 8th grade, but when the speed of the bullet changes, it changes what you learned in 8th grade.
Well, there are guys that drop footballs in every college game that's played,
and
in
NFL
every
game.
I mean that's just part of it. David's in Russellville. David, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, I thought that guy was going to spoil my thunder, but I was reading the paper Sunday morning and checking scores. Did you happen to catch the UAPB score Saturday or Sunday morning?
No.
Did you see what their score was?
No.
73-0. UAPB won. So that might mean
who'd they
be
play?
Better than what everybody thought. So
who'd they play? We know who they played.
I don't know who they played, but their final score was 73. And it's kind of funny. He scored 73, not 70. I mean, he had to kick the field goal that thing to get the 73 to better the score that Arkansas did. So
that's fantastic.
The point is, UAPB might not be as bad, and Oklahoma State might be as good, and we're that much better than everybody thinks. Anyway, y'all got a great show.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I do think Arkansas is better than people think.
I think Arkansas is better than they were last year. I think they're going to surprise people moving forward. I think this is going to be a bowl team. I watched what happened Saturday. I share your frustration.
Hey, you say that. You say that.
You know why? Because the offensive line's better.
No. You say that, and you say it like it's a positive.
It is a positive.
Right, wait, but hold on.
All right.
Things are changing, Chuck. Here's a text from BG and Rogers. So we should be happy with 6-6 and an Independence Bowl bid in year 5 of a coaching tenure.
Look, there's always going to be a comeback for not going 12-0. There's always going to be a comeback.
But this is my point about the expectations changing.
No, you're right.
Like you get on the record in the off season. Nobody's walking around here talking about how great Arkansas is going to be. That'd be great if they could get to a bowl game. 2 games in, that's not good enough.
I didn't say if it was good or bad. I'm saying I think they're going to win at least 5 games, go to a bowl game.
But in the offseason, if you walked around, if you went to Razorback clubs and you pounded that podium and you said that, people would give you a standing ovation. Now they've played a terrible Pine Bluff team, and apparently Oklahoma State's going to be middle of the pack at best in the Big 12 when they're a playoff contender going into this season.
I think Oak State goes 9-3. I do think Utah beats them.
Man, you dropped them a game from the break till now. You had them 10-2 5 minutes ago during the break.
I'm hedging my bets.
You're being influenced.
I'm gonna say they go at least 9-3. At least 9-3.
877-377-6963. It's 7:16 on the Chuck and Bo Show. We'll get back to your reaction on a Monday.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
But I want someone to slide into my DMs. It's just
I'm
a
not sure I'm
goal.
entirely comfortable with this.
It sounds appealing to me.
When it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. They don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you on every step of the way. Whether you're planning a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or simply treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original sports rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
You know, there's a sense of pride when it comes to things built in our state, and you can add Flyway Brewing to the list, a craft brewery with roots in North Little Rock dating back to 2013. With popular flavors like Blue Wing Berry Wheat Ale, the Honeybird Blonde, and the Early Bird IPA, there's no shortage to enjoy a tasty craft beer flight at the Flyway Brewery in Fayetteville, 1550 East Zion Road, or in North Little Rock at 314 Maple Street. Flyway Craft Beer, also available in restaurants and stores everywhere.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you stuck in a paper jam of printer prices? Paper cuts from budget cuts? Don't throw in the towel. Call Dixie Digital Imaging and dive into our new and used inventory blowout. We're slashing prices on top-of-the-line Xerox, Brother, and Epson printers and multifunction devices, gently used or brand new models that are tired of being in our warehouse. Don't miss out on these deals. Call 479-783-6600 for more details. Quantities and availability are limited. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Two bald white guys with a face for radio.
All right, 877-377-6963 is the number that'll get you into the program off the text line. Josh says you take away two catastrophic plays, and everybody's raising hell this morning about why they're not ranked in the top 25. And there'd probably be some truth to that. My overriding sense this morning is that this has a lot more to do with what's happened in preceding years, or at least as much as what happened on Saturday in Stillwater.
You know, one of the things that I want to point out about Oklahoma State is if you're a bad football team, you don't come back and win that game. And they made plays to win the game as much as Arkansas made plays to lose the game. Here's Mike Gundy following the win.
Our culture allows us to function in critical times, and in times when most people panic, we don't panic. We take advantage of it and stay the course.
They did that. And that's part of what Arkansas
I find it hard to give him credit, but I get where he's coming from.
Because Arkansas blew the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, but they didn't blow it against air.
No, you're right about that.
And they did
have
to
make
about
that.
They did have to make plays. They did have to put pressure on. They did have to bring blitzes.
Caller earlier made a very good point. They never panicked. That was a veteran football team. And let me tell you something. A lot of teams at the end of the first quarter would have been panicking because Arkansas looked like they were going to run them off the field.
They made adjustments in the second half,
I agree with that.
You know, a friend just texted me, and it's a great point about Arkansas and something we should pay attention to. And we have talked about how their first team looks really good. The ones on Arkansas look really good. Now, they didn't finish the game, but depth will play a role when you get into SEC play. And Arkansas looked like they only trusted Jackson at running back.
Well, he's their best back.
I mean,
there's no doubt about that.
There's all this talk about five backs, and they like all of them going in. I don't know. Like, he's clearly better than anybody else.
If he hadn't gotten hobbled right at the end of regulation, I wonder if you wouldn't have seen him on the field for every play the rest of the game.
Well, and that 4th and 1's probably a different outcome.
Yeah, might be.
At the end of the game.
Might be. I don't know the reason specifically. I've not talked to him about it.
But depth is going to play a role. And so when you look at them and you say, okay, I think they're going to be a bowl team and all that, they're going to have to withstand the physicality of this league.
They're going to have to develop more running backs.
And not just there, other places on the field. But
here's the most encouraging thing about the depth, though. The place where you've really got to rotate, particularly on hot days on that defensive line. You've got to rotate. You can get away with some stuff on the offensive line that you cannot get away with on the defensive line. And they held them to 59 yards rushing. That tells me a lot of guys who didn't start the game but came into the game playing pretty well. They had it last year. I think it's one of the reasons the defense was better because there were deficiencies in other areas. There were. But if you can go too deep on that defensive line, and if you can rotate without significant drop-off, that's when you've got to have that's when you've got a chance to have a decent defense. And I'll tell you this, if Arkansas defends the run as well at Auburn as they did in Stillwater, they will win that game.
Auburn lost to Cal over the weekend. I didn't know Cal still had a football program. Did you? What league are they in now?
They're in the ACC, and they're getting ready to make cross-country track after cross-country track.
They're in the for those at home. That is the Atlantic Coast Conference
from Berkeley,
California. You might be confused. California is on the Pacific Coast.
You think there's a little bit of a difference between Berkeley and Clemson?
I think we
What do
need
you
to-
think?
Just a bit.
Just culturally?
Yeah, culturally. Yeah.
Just a bit. Rick and Lowell, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, so our special teams, there was twice that our players were blocked into Cedania. What's
Happens
is
all the
that-
time. I mean, it's just
not
part
as-
of a
not as
punt
egregious
return.
as it- Bo, not as egregious as it was Saturday. Twice.
I think that's something they're going to have to work on this week.
Almost took out Cedania twice.
No, I think that's something they're going to have to work on this week. Some of that stuff's inadvertent as it happens, but your position on the field to have it happen is not always inadvertent.
That's a good point.
And so I do think that's something they'll be working on this week.
That muff punt was all that was
That was
100% our player's fault. That wasn't Cedania's fault.
Yeah, he stepped on the guy's head. I mean, the guy got pushed into him, and Cedania made contact with his helmet. There is actually what started screwing the play up. The way I saw it, anyway.
And ball protection. I mean, our ball protection wasn't real as good as it should have been Saturday either. I mean, half of that loss was 100% Arkansas's fault. I mean, at the end we were outplayed, but where the special teams and ball protection really got us in trouble.
Well,
We had that game
turnovers
won,
gave
but
them
then we
momentum.
just
No, you're right. I mean, look, Arkansas made mistakes to lose the game, and we can say they blew the game. And I'm not minimizing that. The other point is people saying Oklahoma State's not any good, and I just don't think that's true. 877-377-6963. We're brought to you in part by First Security Bank. They're all about Arkansas, and they're proving that every day. If you go throughout our state, you're going to find tons of convenient locations. And sure, they're all about helping you bank better, but it's more than that. It's about being friendly, local, and convenient. First Security Bank with locations all over Arkansas. You can check them out online, fsbank.com. They're the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. Bank better at First Security Bank, member FDIC.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I've been waiting to say this for 5 years. Sterling in Center Ridge.
This is quite the coup that they have put together. Bo and Chuck, this is a dream team.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And Hog Noxious, our listeners just don't let us down. He said, Chuck, explain it to them. Smash or trash by saying swipe right or left.
Previously on Halftime. Is this Coach Pittman's biggest win if he goes to Stillwater and gets this victory as a Razorback coach? What's his biggest road win against a ranked opponent? We're not counting Penn State, which it's a good win, but bowl games are separate. This could be Coach Pittman's biggest win as the head coach for the University of Arkansas. I mean, Oklahoma State's a top 25 ranked team.
Listen to Halftime weekdays from 11 to 2 only on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here. We live here. And we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover,
a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Nestled in the beautiful Ozark Mountains, the OARK General Store has been serving customers since 1890. OARK General Store serves the freshest homemade burgers, fries, and pies with the friendliest staff you'll ever meet. You won't be disappointed on your adventure stepping back in time. Whether you're on a motorcycle, top down in a Jeep, or just out for a Sunday drive, make sure you check out the OARK General Store in North Johnson County. Hop off I-40 in Ozark or Clarksville for one of the most beautiful 30-minute drives in all of Arkansas. For hours or location, go to OARK General Store on Facebook.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
End of season savings are yours right now on Kubota hay equipment at Gray Brothers, including the new DM Series disc mowers, or try Kubota's DM Series trail mowers. And for the prettiest bale of hay on the market, try Kubota's BV Series round baler. With Gray Brothers low pricing and great interest rates from Kubota, it's time for your new hay equipment. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nuys work to give all of their patients a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5501 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farm. Now offering same-day crowns. 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
877-377-6963 is the number that'll get you into the program. Let me talk to you for just a minute about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Companies, my partners in the real estate game, so to speak. And that simply means buying a home, and then when it comes time to sell it, and get another one. For most of us, that's the way we live. It's most money we've ever spent. And you want someone on your side of the table that is well-versed and fully knowledgeable about what you want, what you need, and all the things that go into a real estate transaction. I believe now more than ever, you need someone who is well-trained and who understands it better than anybody else representing you. And that's what you always get with Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. That was my experience the first time out. It's been my experience ever since. And I think it'll be your experience as well. Now, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas, Washington, and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith, Branson. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Chuck, it's 47, and the sun is coming up.
And the Cowboys won. So it's not all bad.
And Dak Prescott's the first player to make $60 million a year in the NFL. He's 31 years old, gets an NFL record deal. $240 million in his contract extension, 4 years, $240, 231 of it guaranteed, making Prescott the highest paid player in the NFL. Did Dak Prescott deserve to be the highest paid player in the NFL?
No.
In the NFL history?
No.
Write it down.
What is happening?
Write it down. Remember where you heard it. Write it down. This is the year. They're going to win the whole damn thing.
Okay.
There you go, right there. The whole thing.
Whoever gave Dak Prescott that, maybe they
Bet
should
you
have
they
been.
don't.
Maybe they should have been arrested going into the game yesterday. Not
whatever.
Tyreek Hill.
Whatever. You
God.
guys
Not
just
Tyreek
keep on
Hill.
bashing.
Like there are now. Look, Dak is a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. Would you say?
Please.
Would you say? No, seriously.
God's chosen
Is he
quarterback.
better than-
Okay.
Is he better than Patrick Mahomes?
Okay.
Well,
Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow behind a non-existent
I didn't
offensive
say
line
he was the best.
No.
I'm just saying top 6.
I'm just saying, like, he should not be the highest paid player in
If
the
he's top
history
6, that
of
means
the NFL.
And those guys, when they renegotiate, when they say, baby needs a new pair of shoes, I got to feed my family. When they say that, they'll get a bigger contract than Dak does.
Right. It's goofy,
It's
though.
how it works.
I understand that, but like,
well, by that
it's
measure,
goofy.
Tyreek Hill should be the highest paid
Let's
player
talk
in the
about
NFL
important
because he's
things,
got
though.
lots of babies apparently.
Let's talk about important things. This being the fact that the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl and are going to win it this year. This is the year. Write it down.
How is Patrick Mahomes not the highest paid player?
Because he took less money so
Right.
that the Chiefs could
win Super
afford
Bowls.
to pay
Could win
good
Super
players
Bowls.
and win Super Bowls.
By the way,
Yeah.
before we get back to the phones and more relevant conversations, what has Taylor Swift done to Travis Kelce? The guy is unrecognizable. He's wearing things that a year and a half ago he would have never thought
Have you
about
seen his
wearing.
hair?
Yes, and
It's
his
like Dumb and
mustache.
Dumber.
It's-
It looks like Dumb and Dumber.
so you're saying there's a chance
Oh, man.
with Taylor Swift?
Well, evidently
Yeah.
there is. I mean, he threw the Hail Mary and got it.
Man, friendship bracelets. That was the trick. Double D in Bentonville.
Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we're talking about this 2-10 record and one-score games.
3 and
And I
10,
went
actually,
back
I
and
think.
looked.
But yeah, I think
You went down?
I think it's 3 and 10. But anyhow, same, pretty much the same.
Yeah. But, Chuck was making emphasis about top 10 teams, but I went back and looked. You throw in the Brigham Young, Mississippi State, Liberty, Missouri games that we should have won,
Mhm.
then we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Fair enough. I mean, I was simply pointing out
That-
6 of the 10 have been against ranked teams.
That's a really good point about some of the frustration from years gone by.
Yeah, I mean, that's-
because
that's-
Arkansas
that's
losing games, they can't afford to lose games that they should win because you're the underdog so often. And that's what that's what was different about last year that was so frustrating. And I get that. That makes a lot of sense. This year I don't feel like it's the same. We'll see, but it feels different to me.
Are so frustrated because this is a repeat of something game. Arkansas, let's be honest, 8-4 would be a fantastic year every year. But that's why we have to win the games we're supposed to win.
That's right. But they weren't supposed to win Saturday.
Yeah, but
They're 9.5 point dogs.
Man, what I'm saying is like this is the point is they went in there and made you think they should win the game, and they should have. But people weren't saying that going into the game.
They got to win the games they could win. How about
Well, that's fair.
That
That is fair. And that's what get coaches fired. It's not losing the big games unless it's Ohio State and Michigan or Oklahoma and Texas. It's not the big games that get you fired. It's losing the games you're supposed to win.
Well, and losing games, you have a chance to win.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, your record, we can talk about all the stats we want. Your record's your record. We can talk about how it happened and all that. And nobody knows that more than the coaching staff. You got to win the game. You got to figure out a way to win the game. But if you want to have a takeaway from this game, that's what I'm interested in hearing about. What is your takeaway from the game? Like, what is your hope meter? What, do you feel better or worse about your team than you did going into this game? Because everybody said this was a show me game. I'll believe it when I see it against Oklahoma State. All right, well, what did you see? Did you see something that gave you better feelings about the rest of the year? Or did you see something that was, as we've heard today, the same old Arkansas? Arkansas is going to Arkansas.
one of the things that I do think you have to think about, and I suspect it's on people's minds this morning, my big takeaway from this game is Arkansas is going to be competitive in every game they play. I don't think there's anybody. I've watched them all so far. I know what Texas did up at Michigan, but I know Michigan's a shell of what they were a year ago too. Texas has got to come here in November. I don't look at the schedule in any of these games and say Arkansas is going to get their butt kicked. I think there's going to be more one-score games. I think there's going to be a lot more one-score games. And I think one of the things that fans are trying to process right now is, are we going to be able to win any of those one-score games, or is this stuff going to continue? Because I do think this team's better than a year ago. And you look at the one-score games they had last year, and they weren't very good last year. They're going to have just as many, if not more, this year. And I think the team's better. Got to win more of those games. You can't do things like miss an open receiver on a wheel route. You can't suplex a guy after a lost yardage play. You can't do things like that if you're going to win. It's not enough to be good enough to win. You got to take that last step. I think they've got a chance to do that because I think they are decidedly better up front than they were a year ago. And that, to me, is what gives you a chance every time you play.
That's what we call a hot take, kids. Take it to school with you. Take it to school. Talk about it at lunch. Scott and Mountain Home, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Chuck, agree 100% with you, brother. I feel good about the rest of the year. I think this is a bold team. Just got to cut out the mistakes. But the reason I called, Chuck, is I'm a diehard Cowboy, and I'm with you 100%. But predicting the Super Bowl,
I'm there.
Fan,
I'm there.
I believe in curses.
Cowboy fans, Arkansas fans, all the feels of Cowboys are going to Cowboy again.
Nah.
Arkansas going to Arkansas again.
This is the year.
The Cowboy game yesterday was therapeutic to me because it was painful. But hey, go Cowboys. Go Hawks.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Hey, did you watch the game yesterday? The Dallas game?
I did.
How did Tom Brady do in his debut?
It's okay. I'm not going to cast stones. I remember my first game, man. I was worse than my first game.
Tom
than he
Brady,
was
but did you get paid?
I didn't get paid $375 million for it, though, either.
For never calling a game?
I'm going to be real honest here. I never thought it would happen. I never thought he would end up in the booth. And here's why. I thought in their rehearsals, they would figure out this is not his lane. And they would find a way for everybody to save face. And he would walk away from all this. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. That does not make you a great broadcaster. You can be, and look.
He's good looking, though, Chuck.
Pat McAfee.
He's good looking.
Pat McAfee was a punter. Pat McAfee was a punter. And he's the biggest star among former players in all of media right now.
Biggest star in sports
media. Period. But my point is that I thought going into this that through rehearsals they would figure out this is probably not the best way to go. But I also say this, he'll get a whole lot better.
Oh, he will.
He'll get a whole lot better.
Yeah, but Romo was so good out of the gate. I think people just thought that these former players could just be amazing. And you can be. I mean, but Romo is like a unicorn. And he knows plays ahead of time like Connor Stallions did. But he's in the broadcast.
See where Connor Stein's a head coach now?
No,
he's been promoted to head coach.
Interim head coach.
Well,
they fired the head coach.
No. Health issue for the head coach. Connor Stallions took over and promptly lost like 70-0 or something.
I saw
like that.
So here's what Connor Stallions needs to do. It's just an aside. He needs to have a social media account, like just get on all the socials, and every week put somebody's signs out like, hey, here's what Miami's doing. Here's what you know what I mean? That'd be great. Be huge.
Let's go to Center Ridge. I want to know what Sterling's got to say.
Sterling,
Sterling, what's up, man?
Guys, first on the Razorbacks, and you're talking about the outlook for the season. And I was pretty bleak coming into the season. It's a lot better since Saturday. Now I think we can win Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU. I mean, those games don't look like games that Big Stefan can compete in and can win. We look so much better up front. I mean, the whole operation looked as good as it looked against UAPB, except for the obvious mistakes that Chuck mentioned earlier. So I feel like this team can win 6 games now, 7 games. You know, I mean, this game was a game that I had predicted us to lose anyway. So So we still on pace, and they can perhaps get to 8 games. But the thing about Saturday is this: at 10:59, I thought we were going to get beat. We thought we were going to get beat a couple of touchdowns. But when you get up 20, and if you saw how the game went along at halftime, that's out the window. That's a win game now. That's a game we should win now. I mean, from 10:59 to halftime, that forget what I thought at 10:59. So I understand what you're saying, Bo, about how you felt coming into it. But once you prove me wrong, you're a better football team than I thought you were. We need to finish the deal.
That's fair.
Now you finish the deal.
That's fair.
You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair. I think for me, Sterling, it's just about like your overall view of the program. Like if last year you had a feeling and it was a overwhelmingly negative feeling and you go into the offseason, you have very little hope. How has that changed your perspective now that you've seen them play 2 games? Because we disqualified the UAPB win, and now people are disqualifying this game in terms of saying, well, Oklahoma State's not that good.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's wrong. That's not fair. That's wrong.
But I agree with you. Like, you show me something, now go out and finish it. Let's see what you can do with the talent you now have.
Exactly. And on the quarterback there on Dak Prescott, now you gotta remember when Pat signed his contract 4 years ago, I think it was a 10-year, $450-something million deal, or $500 million deal with a lot of, I mean, it was team friendly because of the moves you could do within the contract of restructuring, but let's not act like Pat Mahomes playing for peanuts now.
Yeah. I mean, he's got money to burn.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, like same thing with Brady. Everybody says, Brady, take a discount. Okay, he's taking less than what he could get, but he ain't taking that much less. Let's hold on. Hold on.
He's going to do without. They're not doing without. Let's just put it that way.
No, nobody paying for minimum wage out there. Y'all have a good day.
All right,
Thanks, Sterling.
Thanks. It's a fair point. I think Mahomes is compensated just fine. But this Dak contract, though, is just like mind blowing.
Oh, I know. $231 million guaranteed. He's got to go earn the other 9. What's the condition of the other $9 million?
Yeah. Well, the best part was Brady. I did see this yesterday. That Brady said, like, their opening is the opening was taped and put out on social or whatever. And so I was watching Tom Brady's debut, and the first thing he talked about was Prescott. And he said, now he's got to go earn it. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, actually, he does not, Tom.
Literally does not.
He does not have to. BA and El Dorado, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Hey, BA.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, listen, let me ask you this. Would you rather beat Arkansas today, knowing that if you cleaned up a couple of mistakes, you get a win when you were a 9-point underdog? Or would you rather be LSU, who barely, it took until the second half to put away like Bogalusa State or whoever it was they were playing?
Yeah.
I mean,
Nichols or whatever.
That was a terrible showing by LSU. If I'm LSU, I'm scared to death to play anybody in the SEC right now.
Look, there's a lot of unknowns in college football right now. A lot of teams we don't know a whole lot about. Back in a minute on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Everyone remembers the Florida A&M game, and later became known here in Pulaski County as Rattlergate.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Fayetteville Auto Park has been Northwest Arkansas's premier automotive dealer for a long time. There's a reason for that. It starts with great brands: Acura, Chevrolet, Honda, Toyota. Plus, they've got a huge pre-owned inventory. They've got an on-site collision center. And that really is what makes them your one-stop automotive headquarters. The best brands, the best people, the best service, and the best selection. Whatever your automotive needs, Fayetteville Auto Parts.
Brew Pig Suey is back. The Arkansas Razorbacks Outdoor Beer Festival is almost here and will be held prior to the Razorback football game on September 14th versus UAB. The festival will be held on the west lawn of Bud Walton Arena from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and features 25-plus breweries, a live DJ, local food trucks, and more. Tickets start at just $50 and include a limited edition tasting cup, unlimited pours, and more, with all proceeds from the event benefiting Arkansas Edge NIL. Visit ArkansasRazorbacks.com for more information.
With Oaklawn Sports, the action never stops and the season is never over. It's now easier than ever to wager on your favorite sports all year long. Go from football to basketball to baseball to golf. Bet on what you want, when you want, with the brand you trust. Oaklawn Sports even offers ways to bet on cricket, rugby, table tennis, and more. If it's a sport, chances are you can wager on it. Plus, it's now simpler to deposit and withdraw money from your account. Bet all year long with Oaklawn Sports, Arkansas's best sports betting app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Two bald white guys with a face for radio.
End of season savings are yours right now on Kubota hay equipment at Gray Brothers, including the new DM Series disc mowers, or try Kubota's DM Series trail mowers. And for the prettiest bale of hay on the market, try Kubota's VV Series round baler. With Gray Brothers low pricing and great interest rates from Kubota, it's time for your new hay equipment. That's Gray Brothers equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nuys work to give all of their patients a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5501 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farm. Now offering same-day crowns. 226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo. Love you, Chuck. Been listening to you dang near all my life calling games. Just certainly excited about y'all's new show. I've listened every morning.
We got some sensitive LSU fans listening.
They're the best.
First off, it was Nichols. Second off, their quarterback is good. I mean, I've never
Used
known
to be
Nichols.
Nichols State.
Yeah, well,
once Nichols State.
Well, they
now
got-
just Nichols.
And that's how they got a better quarterback.
I guess that's right.
I guess actually, I've never known Nichols not to have a great quarterback. Haven't they always had a? Aren't they like quarterback U in Louisiana?
They still find an offensive lineman at the Golden Corral.
So we got excuses everywhere. LSU's got excuses. Arkansas's, we don't have any in Arkansas because they just flat blew the game. Hey, here's a texter on 877-377-6963. You can get in too. You can call as well. How long into a coaching tenure should it take to teach players how to win. Mental issues shouldn't be an issue in year 5. Devin, are you aware that the roster changes, like the whole roster nearly changes every year now in college football?
Let's talk about that in the next hour. I think that's an interesting topic. You're right.
So you can listen to the show live like you are now. You can also catch the Chuck and Bo archived hours of the show, also known as a podcast. Just go to Apple or Spotify and search the Chuck and Bo Show. If you miss it, want to hear it, that's how you can find it. We'll take more of your calls coming up on a Reaction Monday as Arkansas loses a disappointing game in Stillwater on the Chuck and Bo Show. Man, I've got some good news. Sweatinum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there could also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatinum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatinum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to sweatinumcosmetic.com, sweatinumcosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatinum Edge or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatinum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I'm Taylor Green, Arkansas QB, and these two guys definitely have a face for radio.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco.
For hard work and the great outdoors.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will climb into the lower 80s, mainly clear sky tonight, low to mid 50s. On Tuesday, right back to sunshine. Our high in the mid to upper 80s. And then Wednesday, mixed clouds and sunshine. Our high will be into the upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama
Seemed
tires.
like there for a
We
while,
keep
maybe
America
20
rolling.
minutes of the third and fourth quarter, everything we did was not right. In other words, we was
This is
putting the ball.
Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
You sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Drake, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Ready to explore beyond the beaten path? Discover the Range Rover lineup at Land Rover of Little Rock. Experience handcrafted luxury with the capability to take on any adventure. The elegant Range Rover offers unmatched performance and first-class luxury. The Range Rover is built for every journey. Visit Land Rover of Little Rock today and explore our incredible Range Rover selection. Plus, take advantage of our promotions and recently revamped service department. Visit us at 25 Colonel Glenn Plaza Drive or log on at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during our long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
A microcosm of a piece of crap.
He looked like a what?
A microcosm of a piece of crap. That means a smaller version of crap. He's a piece of crap. I'm done.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
That was a called play, and I called it.
A show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm ready to roll right now, Bo.
You believe we're doing this? Just like old times.
This is getting ridiculous, Bo Mattingly.
Northwest Arkansas is growing. It deserves an intelligent sports radio.
Two ball play guys with a face for radio. Make another excuse for this jackwad.
That's right.
Presented by First Security Bank. By Kurt Realtors, the Griffin Company. Pasco Air, Plumbing and Electric. And Fayetteville Auto Park. Here is Chuck and Bo.
Seemed like there for a while, maybe 20 minutes of the third and fourth quarter, everything we did was not right. In other words, we was putting the ball on the ground, snaps, trick play, muff punt, missed field goal. Everything seemed like could go wrong, kind of went wrong there. And that span of time, I was really proud of the 2-minute drive at the end and Ramsey for kicking a field goal to get us into OT. It's the first OT game we've lost since I've been here. I felt like once we can get into OT, we would find a way to win, and we just didn't.
It's Reaction Monday. As we move into hour 3 on the Chuck and Bo Show, 877-377-6963. And a lot of different opinions as far as whether or not, they're talking about this game specifically or the 10 years or the whole thing. And you brought up a good question a minute ago. And
well, people are saying things like, in year 5, should Arkansas have mental mistakes like this? Shouldn't the culture be better? Shouldn't they be more disciplined? Year 5 for the head coach is not year 5 for the roster. I mean, you have turnover every year in today's college football world. I mean, it's a totally different roster than it was last year. The leaders on the team are different than they were last year. And Arkansas's, the mistakes they made, we see routinely made. It doesn't make it okay, but it's not like they were messing the whole thing up the whole game. I mean, Oklahoma State forced the pick 6. Taylor made a bad throw, came out of his hand. He also got hit as he threw it, pick 6. Satania gets run into by his own guy, but Oklahoma State's being physical. They're trying to block him. It's a tough play. It's a freak play. It happens. But all of these things seem to happen at once. And the momentum went and it went and it went, and Arkansas just couldn't get it back. But the football team looks like a team.
I agree with that.
They look like a squad.
I agree with that.
And they got to figure this out, just like a lot of teams. And by the way, just look around the scorers in college football. I mean, you saw what happened to Notre Dame. South Carolina looked like they were dead. People wanted Shane Beamer fired last week after they won by like 4 against Old Dominion, and they went out and boat raced Kentucky
as almost a double-digit dog, if I'm not mistaken. Here's the thing about this 5-year thing, and the rosters do change. And I think about, first off, the word culture. It's tossed around very loosely. Fans, they like that word when their program's winning, and they hate it when their program's losing. But I think about a coach like Dabo, who said, I am not going to operate out of the transfer portal because I don't want to have to redo my culture, so to speak, every year. Now, unfortunately for Dabo, the good players are moving via what Mike Gundy very accurately called free agency. And the idea that you can win without delving into the portal is folly now. But his idea initially was, I don't want to have to remake the culture of my team every year. And that's what you have to do, unless you're fortunate enough to have a good quarterback who, coming off a great year, has decided that he's either not going to test the free agency waters or he's going to forego another year, or, he's going to forego the NFL to come back for another year. Unless you have that luxury, you're going to be going into most years with a new starting quarterback. And if you don't think that completely changes the culture of your team, you've never been around a team. So I think that's this idea that you got the same players for 5 years. If you did, and you're still losing games like that, well, maybe there's a point there.
Gundy,
but that's not what's happening.
Gundy has managed to keep a central core.
That's why their their record in one-score games is better.
And he's been there for 20 years. His strength coach has been there the whole time. He's had all of this consistency in his staff, and that's part of this too. Like, if you can manage to do that, the problem is you got to win enough games to be able to keep your staff together in today's world, which is very difficult, and to keep your own job. But if you can do that, when you do bring new players in, they're walking into a very consistent foundation. Zach is in Heber Springs. Zach, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, fellas. Good morning to you. I just had a good and bad takeaway from the game. I had tickets, but I had to give them to my cousin KJ. I wasn't going to be able to go. But Trino's offense was like the White Whale. I mean, she blew. I mean, we went 600-plus yards offensively. That was good. The bad is just mental mistakes, but all of the bad that happened is stuff that can be corrected. I mean, we can, and you look at Texas A&M. I mean, we still have a chance to have a 7 or 8 win season, I believe. I just wanted to hear your guys' take this morning and see what y'all thought about the rest of the schedule going forward. And if y'all thought we were still going to make enough wins to get to a bowl game or possibly further.
Well, Chuck has said a couple times this morning on the show of record for Razorback fans that Arkansas is going to a bowl game.
Still think it's a bowl team.
He made a couple of good points there. One of them was correctable mistakes. Great point. You can't correct a quarterback who can't execute and doesn't have the ability to pull it like that. That's something you got to work around. Like, they have the pieces, and these mistakes are correctable. The issue that may not be correctable is depth. Do they have enough depth? One of the things we haven't talked a lot about is it did seem like Arkansas wore down a little bit in the game.
I thought the heat was a factor late. Might have been a factor for the offensive line. I don't know. I mean, they put together some pretty good drives there at the end of the game. I walked down to the field after the game. I'm just going to tell you, it was brutal. It was so hot down there.
I've been on that field so many times. It's always been hot.
It's that field turf. And I know the temperature. I don't think the actual temperature hit 90. But I'm going to tell you, down on that turf, you walk out of that tunnel onto that turf, and I mean, it's like getting hit by a blast furnace.
Cecil's in Fort Smith. Cecil, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. I really can't complain, especially from a season from last year, the record. We have a great team. I went in big time confident. I didn't even think we would lose. It wasn't there. I mean, they came out and played really well, just like the gentleman just said. The thing about it, where we lose, we shot ourselves in the foot. We didn't execute, and we didn't take care of the football. Other than that, we won in all aspects of the game, and we're gonna have a great season. I mean, I hate we lost because I get a rush every time we run out on the field. Whatever we do, Arkansas Razorback, I am a Hog, and I love my Razorbacks, and I hate we lost. But we're going to win a lot of football games this year, and we're going to surprise a lot of people. But Trino, man, he is the master of the game, man. I'm so happy he's back, and he gets a lot of support from me. And I just, we just got to look for the upcoming games and win. I know we're going to win a lot of games, and we're going to surprise a lot of people because Oklahoma State was ranked 16th, and look how we handled them. They didn't win the game on paper. We just shot ourselves in the foot. I'm going to hang up and listen.
All right.
Have a great day.
Cecil, thank you. Let's talk about a couple of things right here, and I'll go back to the previous caller beyond Cecil as well about what's ahead, what kind of team Arkansas is going to have. UAB's up next. UAB lost to ULM 32-6 on Saturday. ULM may be a lot better than they've been the last 3 or 4 years. They've been among the worst teams in the country the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe they got a new coach in who brought a lot of guys, but they blew UAB away. My suspicion is that in 2 weeks, the game at Auburn is going to be very much like the Oklahoma State game. I don't know that it's going to be 39-31. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying teams are going to go up and down the field. I expect Arkansas to play well against Auburn. I watched a little bit of the replay of Auburn's game yesterday. I think Arkansas can run the ball on Auburn. I believe they can. We'll find out, obviously. I'm sure Auburn thinks they can stop the run, as they should.
Wait, you watched a replay of the Auburn-Cal game?
Watched a little bit of it. I try to watch a little bit of every SEC game on Sunday. And I was really trying.
I didn't realize you worked that hard.
I was trying to find some UAB stuff. Man, I got a lot of stuff during the week, But at any rate, I think Arkansas can have success against Auburn. And I think it'll be a similar type game in terms of the closeness of the game. And we'll see if a lot of the mistakes that cost Arkansas the game Saturday have been corrected. If they have, they'll beat Auburn. If they haven't, probably won't.
JT in Hot Springs says there's not a game on this schedule that I think we can't win.
I agree with that.
Well, how often has that been said?
Not a lot lately. I think that, when I look at the schedule and I look at, there's a lot to know. I mean, look, let's be real clear. Jalen Green gets hurt. The wrong guy gets hurt for another team. I mean, things can change.
I'm going to do this right now.
Things can change on a dime.
We got to do this. This is week to week. Like you said, every week.
We're going to put a W and an L by every game.
If you did that. No, but if you did that, if you did it on a whiteboard and you just put a line through last week's thought and a new number on the number of wins or the games, like a W by the game. So the 2 games are over. They're 1-1. UAB, nobody's probably changed their opinion. They're going to win at Auburn. You just said you like Arkansas now. A&M's next. You like Arkansas in that game?
I think they got a shot to win that game.
Tennessee
may be the best team in the league right now, aside from Georgia. They may be better than Georgia. I thought they had the most impressive win in the league over the weekend.
LSU, it certainly seems winnable.
I mean, it's not Nichols, but
at Mississippi State, winnable. Ole Miss, another really tough game at home. The two of the next toughest games are in Fayetteville. 3. Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas at home, La Tech at Missouri. I mean, which one of those games is not winnable? Maybe Tennessee.
I think that's the one that you probably look at on the schedule and say, man, Tennessee's really good. But Tennessee's got to come to Arkansas. They got to play in Fayetteville. And I hope that not everybody's thrown in the towel at that point.
We are pumping some sunshine.
Shane's in Greenwood. Shane, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Full service sunshine pumping. Morning, Steve. Shane, what's happening?
You bet.
Hey, I just got a question. I want to hang up and listen to your opinion. So I'm a big fan of football, but I'm not the most astute fellow when it comes to coaching and the nuances of it. In your opinion, did Sam coach a sound game on Saturday? I'll hang up and listen.
I think he would say no. I think he would answer that no. Anytime you lose a game and you have penalties and discipline and maybe the clock doesn't get completely managed correctly, though, everybody can point to failures that they had within the staff. But I would answer it like this, Chuck, and I don't know what your take is. I didn't think Sam Pittman lost the game for him. I didn't think he mismanaged the game to lose.
There's always a decision or two that you can go back, but I mean, that's just the nature of sports. And no, I don't think it was a situation where Arkansas got out-coached. I think they got outplayed. At the end of the day, they just got outplayed. And Arkansas made mistakes, and Oklahoma State rode that momentum and found a way to win the game. And but no, I don't look back at it and say, man, that was a horrible move. Right?
There's our first Rick Schaefer reference. Josh from Harrison says we are the new Rick Schaefer.
Well, I mean, look, you can. I think, unfortunately, some people, when you lose a ball game, the only positive they could ever find from it is if someone gets fired, and I get that. And look, you can say whatever you want. I couldn't care less, but everyone has their opinion, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I think this is still a good football team. I think they're going to win some games. I think they'll beat Auburn in 2 weeks. Now, look, if we get to the Auburn ball game and it's a close game and they're doing the same things they did this past Saturday and they lose in the same fashion, that'll be a different deal. That'll be a different deal at that point.
Yeah, 877-377-6963, 816 on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Two bald white guys with a face for radio.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you remember they were partners on the original Sports Rap radio program over 20 years ago. We've done business together from an advertising perspective, but more importantly, they've been my partners in buying and selling homes. I'd recommend them to anybody. They're in Northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, and in Branson. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, turning houses into homes since 1978.
Man, I've got some good news. Sweatnum Cosmetic is not just for females. Turns out us guys want to look and feel good too. Why be tired, lethargic, and overweight when we don't have to be? Sure, diet and exercise matter, but there can also be a lot more going on. For example, low testosterone is a real thing among many adult males, not just the old guys. I've heard about the weight loss shots and the low T ads before, and I've been skeptical. But then I stopped by my friend's office, Dr. Jeff Sweatnum. He showed me around that first-class facility and said, here's what we're doing for guys. It's called the Sweatnum Edge. You make an appointment, get a free evaluation covering 4 potential issues: hormones, weight loss, hair loss, and skin. Find out where you are and decide if treatment is right for you. Log on to SweatnumCosmetic.com, SweatnumCosmetic.com, and click on the Sweatnum Edge, or call 479-966-4174 and tell them you heard about the Sweatnum Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during our long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
All you kids, anytime there's any problem, anytime somebody's, well, why don't you get YouTube TV?
Oh,
Well, why don't you get Sling? Why don't you, I mean, you've always got the answer.
Right.
You've always got the answer.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I'm thinking, Chuck, that back to what you said a few minutes ago, how you go back and you watch games on Sunday. You want to see all the SEC
Not the whole
teams
game, just
that
bits and pieces.
that you didn't get to see because
The
you were
highlights.
calling a game. And I'm just curious, how do you do that? Is it like, given all the conversations we've had about like the previous channel button and those types of things, what is your setup that allows you to go back and watch games?
I go to ESPN, the
watch
app.
ESPN
app.
Yeah,
I believe
The
it's what
app.
the kids
Yeah,
call it. And
boy.
there's always the highlights
Yeah,
button
you can
because
just go
it's
online.
an ESPN game. You can watch that, and you can go to YouTube, and there's generally the full game.
I mean,
on
you're
there.
you've been sandbagging.
I
on
know
your
what
ability to get around.
I'm like most people my age. I know how to do what I need to do, and all the other stuff's just window dressing. My people know what I'm talking about.
Sounds like an offensive strategy right there. Know what you need to do.
My people. Hey, we're gonna run
Window
five,
dressing
We're
the
gonna
rest.
run 5 plays damn well, boys.
Yeah.
Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, I know my way around
That's right.
an app when I need to. Here's Mike Gundy after the game.
We wasted the first half. Their coaches had better concepts and schemes than our coaches did. Our players got out of position some, but for the most part, I thought particularly through the first quarter and a half, that they had better concepts, did a better job of scheming than we did. And then at halftime, our coaches were fantastic. The adjustments we made, the players were really good about absorbing information, not panicking, not pointing fingers, taking it back out on the field and executing it and playing much better. Obviously, I don't know. I think we had like 8 yards in the first quarter or something.
Yeah, at halftime it was 21-7 Arkansas, and Arkansas had 351 total yards of offense. Oklahoma State had 77. This was a game as a Razorback fan, having watched Razorback sports for a long time. So many times you see bad things happen. And when they don't happen and good things are happening, like, oh my gosh, there goes Taylor Green. He's got a wide open lane to run. Oh, look at us run the ball. Oh, wow. Look at that pass over the middle. Look at that catch. Another play. You're like, this is different, man. This is great. And in the second half, you're back to feeling like an Arkansas fan. Like, oh man.
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah. So in this game, you had the opportunity to feel like you belong in the top 25. You belong. You're running this team. I watched the first half of the game at walk-ons, and people there were just like, game's over after the second touchdown. They're going to run these guys right out of the building, right out of their own building.
I thought so too.
So what do you do with that? At the end of the day, what do you do with it?
You got to sustain it.
As
You
a
gotta sustain
thoughtful fan with some depth to you, what do you do with the outcome of the game? And we just looked at the schedule. You look at the schedule again. Did your mind change about upcoming games based on what you saw in this game? For the rest of the schedule, did your mind change when you pulled out your schedule and you did that exercise, win, win, loss, 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 win, loss, and you came up with whatever your record was? Has that changed based on what you saw in this game at Oklahoma State?
It's changed for me to an extent, not necessarily, well, not fully, because of what I saw at Oklahoma State. It's because of what I saw in the Auburn Cal game. It's because of what I saw in the LSU Nichols game. Texas A&M and against Notre Dame, a team that lost at home to Northern Illinois. Every week's different. Every week's a new adventure. And I think Arkansas is equipped to compete every week. I'm not saying they're going to win all of them. I do think they'll end up winning as many as they lose, maybe more. But I think Arkansas is going to be competitive in every game they play.
George is in Mississippi. George, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, love the show. Appreciate what you guys do. I heard, I think, in the last 15 minutes, we need to slow down on the sunshine pumping. Couldn't agree more. Where it ends for me really is when we finished the Missouri game last year, we had a coaching problem. And we start this year, and I didn't suspect the season was going to be anything more than getting to the end and getting Pittman's buyout lowered and moving on. I can't watch this team anymore do the same things over and over. And I appreciate that 55 guys are new, but they're coming from other college programs, and they've got 2 or 3 years under their belt. And the hallmark of this coach's tenure is going to be a lack of discipline. And I've seen the 600-yard games, and I love them to death. But if you don't have a killer instinct and you can't put somebody away, you are where you are. The turnovers, untimely as they were, I want to know if the young man who decided to body slam Oklahoma State's player, costing us essentially a critical first down, is he going to play next week? Is there any accountability? Like, guys, how do we stop this? I kind of heard you talk about culture and maybe dismiss it, but man, we've had 5 years of just undisciplined football with no killer instinct. The one possession losses are too many. I don't see a change, guys. I really don't.
Well, you're going to have a long fall. I mean, if you're not going to watch them anymore, you're going to have a long fall.
And that's the problem. And I just
let me jump in here with, I hear what you're saying, okay? And by the way, should Oklahoma State bench their quarterback next week for getting an unsportsmanlike penalty? And
if they have a better option, sure.
Well, okay, yeah. If they have a better option, you don't just bench.
The guy that did it was, I guess, their leading
it's
tackler.
dumb. It's dumb, and it was dumb for the Oklahoma State quarterback. They're playing an emotional game too. Like, I'm not saying it's okay, but when you talk about killer instinct, there were some. I'm not going to call them fluke plays, but there are some freak kind of things that happen in that game. Like the pick six is a little bit of actually Oklahoma State caused the play by getting a blitz and pressure, and they're a good football team. And they caused the play on the punt by being right there, and it's a pressure moment. I don't think it's a lack of killer instinct. I think you had momentum shift, and that happens. And Arkansas got it back. They went down and scored again. I mean, if they didn't go back and fight back after they got down from being up 21-7, when that flips on you, and if you don't react to that positively, then I would say they don't have any killer instinct. But look, you're playing a good football team, and you're playing at their place, and that team's making plays too. So I don't think this is the same as it was last year. That's my point.
It's not. Okay, and it's not just last year though. It's several.
Yeah, but this is this year, is what I'm saying. This is this year.
And you're kind of making the point that we've made this morning is that people being upset or as upset as they are right now, and you're sort of proving the point right now, it's not so much about Saturday. It's about the preceding 5, 10, for some people, however long your moment is. I understand your frustration. Everybody's frustrated today, and I get it. And we got to take a break. How about that? 877-377-6963. More of your calls in a moment. This is the Chuck and Bo Show.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right. Well, congratulations. Hey, Chuck, I made some good calls today. You sure did. You sure did.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner.
Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Did I hear my broadcast partner talking about somebody slipping in his DM?
Green's going to throw on second down. Got some time now. It breaks down, rolls to his right, still looking. Now he's going to run it. Inside the 35, inside the 30, far sideline of the 20. Cuts back. 15, coming to the near side to the 5. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Elizabeth.
This is Robert. And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Folks, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas yet.
No, Mom, he's referring to football season.
Oh, speaking of football, guess what we just got in?
Season tickets?
Sideline passes?
Well, close. We just started receiving the Nike sideline apparel like hats and polos.
Yeah, but did we get jerseys?
Yeah, we got both kinds, cardinal and white.
We also have youth and adult sizes.
That's great. People have been asking for that for quite some time now. Matt, by the way, I did some research, and there's no shot for going viral.
Oh, Lord. Mom, he's a goner.
Anyway, besides Nike, we also have Champion, Cutter and Buck, Tommy Bahama, and many other brands.
All at the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole, which is 989 South Razorback Road, next to Baumwalker Stadium. Matt, you tell them all about them interweb-based grams.
He means the website, which is shop on Razorback.com.
Or give us a call at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs!
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Back to Save Sports Radio.
Chuck and Bo Show brought to you in part by Blakeman's. Tradition meets excellence at Blakeman's. The Razorbacks have a rich tradition of excellence in all kinds of sports. Maybe not always football, but hey, they've had some moments, and they had a moment in the first half on Saturday. It just didn't continue. But Blakeman's Fine Jewelry is where you find excellence. The official jeweler of the Arkansas Razorbacks. They know quality and craftsmanship matter, whether it's on the field or in the jewelry you wear. From stunning engagement rings to gifts that celebrate life's milestones, Blakeman's is proud to be a part of your Razorback journey. Find them in Rogers and explore the brilliance that only Blakeman's can deliver. Zach is in Wynn. Zach, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Hey, Zach.
Fantastic.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the show with concerns about health. I look directly to the running back room. Jaquindon's our clear number one. I thought he carried the ball well Saturday. Part of me wishes that we'd see more Rashad Dominion, so I just wanted to get y'all's thoughts.
He's been hurt. That's the deal with Dominion. He's been banged up pretty much. I won't say all of camp, but he's been banged up a little while.
Well, and Jaquindon limped around often on Saturday, so I just wanted y'all's thoughts on how he carries that type of workload through what's going to be a pretty tough SEC schedule for us. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Zach.
They're going to have to develop some depth there. I
think
mean,
they
in
will.
general,
They're going to have to, yes.
You can't play in this league a whole season and just think your ones are going to play. You know, I don't know if Landon Jackson came out of the game on Saturday. Jaquindon Jackson, they needed him to never come out of the game. Man, he looks so good. Can we just talk about that for a second?
He is really good.
I mean, how good of a running back is that guy? I mean, can we say that? Is that okay, or are we doubting that too? Taylon Green, do you believe in Taylon Green as a quarterback? How do you feel about Taylon Green?
I think he's better than
one of the SEC.
He's better than what we had last year, and I like KJ a lot. But I think Green gives you a better chance to win this year than KJ did last year.
Do you think this offensive output is going to continue?
I think it's going to get better.
I mean, are they going to put up 600 yards a game?
Probably not, but there will be another game where they do. I'll predict that. I mean, I don't think this is an outlier.
Well,
it might be Saturday.
UAB and
I'm
La
talking
Tech.
about against the Southeastern Conference.
You know, look,
moving forward.
I just said the words La Tech. As it came out of my mouth, I was reminded of people calling before the season started and wondering if Arkansas could win that game. Do you still wonder that? People wondering about UAB coming in here. Are you still wondering that? I mean, I'm not guaranteeing victories. I'm just saying that was an impressive performance in so many ways. And they lost the game, and we all saw how they lost the game and what happened and all that. But what does it mean for the rest of the season is something to consider. And I think those are positive signs.
Well, look, it was a lousy ending on Saturday, and there were a lot of reasons for people when it was over to just be pulling their hair out. And if you were to take that game by itself, I mean, it was an exciting back and forth game, but when your team loses a game like that, you've seen them lose games similarly in years prior, it's going to be frustrating. But guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Last year, the first time Arkansas lost, I knew in my mind there was a lot more losing to come. I knew there was a lot more losing to come. I don't feel that way this year. I'm not saying they're not going to lose another game. I'm not saying that.
But when
I'm just saying I don't think they're doomed.
When you go back to that, Chuck, go back to the last game of the season and how you felt as a fan that day. Is it any different than how you feel today?
It is for me.
I mean, I would think it has to be that way for everyone. It may not be ultimately exactly everything you have dreamed of and hoped for. But the idea of where your expectations were and where they are today, I think are different. I think your expectations are higher. They've gone up based on what you've seen, what you watched play out in that game. They went up during the game.
I agree with that. I think for a lot of fans right now, though, as they watch, they have become conditioned to believe that even if we are better, the other team's either going to be a little bit better or we're going to find a way to lose.
Yeah.
I think that's where people are right now. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying I think that's where people are.
You know, we got on this topic earlier about what's correctable. Like a couple of calls, they pointed out that these are all correctable mistakes. One thing that may or may not be correctable, to be determined, is the kicking situation. Here's what Pittman said after the game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always a competition, but I hate it for him. I know we missed a couple, but he also made the one put us into overtime. And if we played a little bit better, maybe that wouldn't have come up. You know, their kicker missed as well to put us in, I think, overtime too. So, but yeah, that competition's always up. Certainly is now.
Yeah, I think that job's open. I'm not saying that Ramsey has lost the job. I'm saying that Shipley is in the running. And it wouldn't surprise me, frankly, if either one of them, you know, they're going to have a competition this week.
I know this sounds probably ridiculous to somebody, but can you imagine being the kicker? You're in a kicking battle. Okay, you're Ramsey. You've been fighting for this job. And the first time you go out and try to kick in a game, like a field goal, is at Oklahoma State, on the road, and a lot riding on it. I mean, just ask yourself, how many times in life do you get put in that spot? Like you're out there on an island. You've got no experience, really. That's a tough spot to be in. I mean, and if he has the ability, or if either one of those guys do, like, you got to grow from that and you get a little confidence. But I mean, that's the loneliest, worst job on the planet. Like, if your kid looks at you and says, I want to be a kicker, what do you say? Let's look at some other options. I mean, you're by yourself.
Unless he can kick it 70 or 80 yards, then it's like, pal, you're going to be daddy's meal ticket.
I don't know, man. You're like every kicker's on borrowed time.
By the way, the Cowboys kicker lining up for a 71-yarder.
Yeah.
I just let him kick it. Have some fun. Why not?
How many people saw Cam Little absolutely stripe a 53-yard field goal that would have been good from 70?
How many Cam Little references have there been in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, like we always talk about, you don't even know who the kicker is until they miss one.
That's right.
You don't even know their name.
Some people may not even know this guy's name now. They just know he missed.
We'll take more of your calls. We got a ton of texts we haven't gotten to.
There are a lot of them.
We'll comb through that, but we'll do it when we come back on the Chuck and Bo Show. 877-377-6963. Let me tell you about Flight from Yuengling. Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer brewed for the drinker who doesn't want to compromise on flavor or taste. It's a light beer with great taste. For those who don't follow trends but craft them, who get more out of their day, night, and everything in between. For the go-getters, there's a new go-to. It's Flight by Yuengling, 12 ounces of premium refreshment from America's oldest brewery, and only 2.6 grams of carbs, 95 calories, and 4.2% ABV. This is premium refreshment, 6 generations in the making. So get out there, keep pushing, crushing, and raising your game. Your ice-cold Flight is waiting. Don't just raise a glass. Raise a Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one razorback. Number one.
Flight by Yuengling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment, 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
You know, for me, when it comes to finding the perfect diamond, there's just one name that stands above the rest in Northwest Arkansas: Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. As the region's premier experts for diamonds, Blakeman's offers an unparalleled selection of brilliant stones, handpicked for their quality and beauty. And they don't just help you find the perfect stone, they educate you every step of the way. So whether it's a proposal, celebrating an anniversary, or maybe just treating yourself, Blakeman's is where your search ends and your story begins.
Who's ready for some Arkansas Razorback football? Experience football game days on the Hill as the Hogs return to action for the Fayetteville home opener, Saturday, September 14th, 3:15 p.m. against UAB. Tickets are available online at arkansasrazorbacks.com or by calling the Hogs at 800-982-HOGS.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Hey, Razorback fans, it's Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmer. And it's a great time to be a Razorback.
Embrace the hole!
Whether it's a touchdown, a slam dunk, or a grand slam. Big Sully, they were doing all the stuff. I went in there to get something to eat, and they're cheering. I'm like, what is going on here? We're here with the excitement and insight you crave.
Well, you're giving me goosebumps now, you know.
It's the Razorback Daily from the team at Sport and Store.
That might be our best episode ever.
Available wherever you listen to your podcast each morning.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
A great pair. Really honored that you guys are doing this, listening over here in Jonesboro.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here. We live here. And we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show on ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to the Chuck and Bo Show. Listen anywhere at hitthatline.com or the Hit That Line Now app. And now, Chuck and Bo.
You know, it's taken this long into the show to realize that today's National Teddy Bear Day. I think we could have saved everybody a lot of heartache if we'd have known that. You know, everybody just kind of get your teddy bear and cuddle up today and feel a little bit better about where you are in life. Also, happy birthday to Adam Sandler, who's 58. Gosh, it makes me feel old. Adam Sandler, 58 years old.
Doesn't look a day over 55.
Not a day over 55. Chuck, I don't. We're going to give you inside radio here. We have a list of when our commercials play on the air.
It's called a log.
It's called a log. And what we try not to do is do, like a live read when we're in the show and we're talking about one of our advertising partners. We don't want to do one of those and then go to a commercial break and basically have the same one. And I failed to look at the log, and I did exactly that.
How long you been doing this, man?
Like 25 years.
How long are you going to keep making the same mental mistakes?
It's like
I
don't have
over it. You know what the definition of insanity is, don't you, bro? You know what that is, don't you?
Somebody's got to get fired.
My God.
Somebody's got to get
mental mistake. I mean, really?
Lack of discipline.
hell, you've been doing this for 25 years.
It's a total lack of discipline. You know what I don't have? I don't have a killer instinct.
That was so bad, Bart's got to get fired. Bart, you're fired. Bo screwed it up so bad, you're fired.
Oh, can you imagine if you had a show? If you had a show about your job,
really?
So, like somebody, I was talking about how tough it is to be a kicker, and somebody responded with a text: "Everybody's job's tough. We should be able to count on you from 39 yards out."
That's why when you read a Flight by Yingling ad, you shouldn't hear a recorded ad. Everybody knows that. Ray Charles could have seen that coming. My God.
Get yourself together.
Fire his ass.
Get yourself together. 877-377-6963.
Early in the season for everybody.
Can we at least finish out the show today? Would that be all right for Bart?
That producer's got to get fired. He can't play call. He can't go to. Get him out of here
now.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got another text here about.
Don't even let him on the plane.
Arkansas does not have a killer instinct. They don't, and it made him mad that he thought that we said they did. I didn't say they didn't, or I didn't say they did. I just said, like, the not winning that game is not them having a lack of a killer instinct.
Let's define killer instinct. In this case, not having a killer instinct means they didn't win. They didn't win.
Right.
And look, you can take this game. I mean, you can say they didn't have a killer instinct. Maybe they did. But I don't know.
They didn't lay down. They fought back.
It's not like when. Yes, that's exactly right. They came back. They scored on that pass down the seam to Has. He for the two misses, he did make the one that sent it into overtime, and that was a fairly pressured kick.
And again, this is so typical of all of us. I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes you forget the other team's playing. Like, it's just literally about your team.
And they got guys on scholarship. They're getting NIL money.
There's another great cliche. They got guys on scholarship too.
They got players on football scholarship.
They got free agency portal guys too. I mean, look, Oklahoma State, I do give them credit for making plays down the stretch. I mean, Arkansas made blunders, but Oklahoma State has to take advantage of them. And they did. 18 points off 3 Arkansas turnovers. I mean, that is the story of the game.
You're right. That's exactly right. And that's why I will still say, if you eliminate the turnovers, and that's a big if, but if you can eliminate that part of what happened Saturday when you play at Auburn in a couple of weeks, you can do the other things well that you did on Saturday. I think you come home with a win.
Ryan in Prairie Grove says Bo's snake bit like the football team.
Maybe that's it.
I just can't win.
Maybe that's it.
I just can't
I mean,
win.
it's like 8:50. We're having a great show, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking Bo's getting ready to screw it up. That's what he does. He's getting ready to screw it up.
No getting around it. It's been that way for 25 years. It's just like Bo gonna Bo. Arkansas's gonna Arkansas.
Bo gonna Bo.
He's gonna keep bowing.
It's funny.
Oh man, this is the world though. This is the world we live in. We're all taking shots. We're all just sniping. We're all just sitting over here waiting to have something to say about how, it was terrible again. I mean, I just see a completely different football team in all seriousness. They got to fix that stuff, and it sucks that they lost the game, more so for them than anybody else. But I do find it's sort of interesting that when we look at the schedule right now, you start finding potential wins that maybe you didn't have there before, and they still got to go do it. It does it's just all to be played out, and every week's a new adventure because we're seeing. Hey, how about Colorado? How about all the Deion hype? How about all that?
That's about over, isn't it? Hey, look, the Hogs got a lot to work on this week. There's no doubt about that. There are things to correct, and you don't snap your fingers and make it go away. You don't just say, well, if you don't turn the ball over. You got to go to work on that. You got to go to work on that, and that's what they're going to do this week. And UAB got pounded pretty good last weekend, and Auburn's coming up a week from Saturday, so there's still a lot to do. There's 10 games left.
I think Tyreek Hill's going to press charges against the Miami-Dade Police Department. Whatever you do, don't get handcuffed on the way into work today. All right? Have a great Monday. We're going to be back and try to do it better tomorrow on the Chuck and Bo Show. Morning Rush is next.
I always enjoy talking about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you followed my radio career, you